Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Attorney John Deaton has shared some thoughts from a very well-known Ripple and XRP critic. The individual in question, Ryan Selkis. Here he is. I googled him all up on the web internet, so here's some pictures of this guy right here. And look, I have nothing against this guy, like on a personal level, although I do have a critique. You know, years ago, before I even launched my YouTube channel, Moon Lambo, with a silly ass name, Moon Lambo. I never even, as far as I can recall anyway, I don't think I even wrote anything to this guy on Twitter, but I do remember seeing he posted something, I believe it was about XRP, and then somebody from the community responded saying, no, that's wrong, whatever it was. It's just the memory's somewhat foggy at this point. I remember hitting heart on whatever the hell that comment was, and he blocked me for that reason. As to the best of my recollection, never talked to this guy. Talk about an intolerant individual. Wow. So like from my perspective, I love engaging with people that have ideas different than my own. I start to draw the line if somebody's being rude about it. But no, like to any of you listening, I don't need you to agree with me for me to like you and respect you. Like that's just how I approach people in life. I don't need you to agree with me in order to like and respect. And I encourage ideas being vocalized that are different than my own. I like to take that in. And if you have a compelling case, perhaps you can persuade me to feel different. That's fine. Because the way things work in life, it's like, there's no way that I'm right about everything that I believe I'm right about. And this should be true of everybody, frankly. It's just I believe things based on the whatever evidence has been presented to me. I believe things that I'm sure I believe some things that absolutely are not true. And so my mission in life is one of my missions is to believe in life as many true things as possible. I don't want to believe things that are incorrect. So if I'm confronted with information that proves one of my beliefs wrong, I'll just be like, oh, wow, thank you. I appreciate that. And then I'll just admit I'm wrong. And so it gets hard for people to do that when it becomes part of their identity. And so for Ryan Selkis, again, nothing against him on a personal level. I'm critiquing the way that he's intolerant against viewpoints that are different than his own because he's blocking out perspectives that, the opportunity here, a perspective that he might find persuasive. But what's interesting, given his true disgust for XRP and Ripple, it's fascinating to see how he's on the side of Ripple winning the case, frankly. It's kind of astonishing to see that. So credit where it's due. I'm glad that he gets this because there are much broader implications for the crypto asset class than many realize. And so this guy, I'm telling you, he truly despises Ripple and XRP. I've covered a number of the stuff he's talked about on my channel over the years. It's clear. So it's good to see this, though. And we need more of this, even from the Bitcoin maxis out there, because I'm not convinced even they are safe necessarily. So plenty to unpack here. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so now here's the thread from attorney John Deaton. And he wrote, from a significant Ripple critic, and then colon, and here's the quote. And this is from Ryan Selkis, who he's at 2BitIdiot on Twitter, and he's the founder of Masari. And so here's the quote. I am, how you say, not a Ripple fan, but from the day the SEC's enforcement action against them dropped last fall, I've been rooting for them to prevail versus the SEC because the case feels dirty, and it could set terrible precedent. We know from Ripple's court proceedings that, despite 3 years of meetings with company executives, the SEC never informed Ripple or its partners that the commission believed the company's digital currency, XRP, was a security until they initiated an enforcement action. That alone is damning. I'm not a lawyer, but I know that baiting a company to engage over 3 years and then initiating a lawsuit with no prior warning is not a good way to craft policy around an emerging market. Especially because, unlike many other crypto tokens, XRP has actually been legitimately used for cross-border payments as a bona fide currency. End quote. And that's Ryan Selkis right there. He hates XRP. He hates Ripple for a number of different reasons. And I think some of them are a bit out there. Like, he's made some claims. Like, some of them I can be like, okay, we can respectfully disagree, but there have been some claims over the years where I'm just like, do you really believe some of what you're saying? And so knowing who this guy is and the stuff he's put out, the vitriol about XRP and Ripple, to see him say this, it's like, take note. And this is why I keep saying, too, it's like the only people that believe the SEC is on the right side of this are the lawyers at the SEC. And Joe Lubin, co-founder of Ethereum. That's it. That's pretty much it. It's Joe Lubin and the lawyers at the SEC and Gary Gensler and a few others. That's pretty much it. But even past SEC employees are like, no. Very clearly. You can think Mary Jo White, who former SEC chair, who was an attorney for Ripple now, former SEC chair. And you can think about Andrew Seresny, also one of the higher-ups at the SEC, also an attorney for Ripple now. And there's others. There's all sorts of others. I've been highlighting it for the better part of a year at this point. And so it's like it could not be more crystal clear that the SEC is wrong. And that's why I'm very confident, don't know for sure, but I'm very confident, and I think reasonably so, that history will show that XRP holders and Ripple on the right side of history. And then John Deaton continues here. The SEC isn't limiting its allegations to include only sales of XRP by Ripple. It absurdly claims secondary sales of XRP by individuals or entities independent of Ripple are also unregistered securities. It's claiming, quote, the very nature of XRP in the market, end quote, makes it a security. Pause. Can I just say, this is what it was intended to happen back in 1946 with the Howey case, right? That's what was intended. We came to the conclusion in 1946 that oranges, by the very nature of oranges existing, they're securities. Not the way that they're packaged, right? Just the orange itself. Ooh, nature evolved you, and yeah, nature evolved the security. That's how it was intended to be perceived, and as a result, it makes it rational to think that XRP being created fine, not by nature, but by man, but still, it just proves that the nature of something existing purely means that it can be a security. That makes no logical sense, obviously, right? No logical sense in the freaking world. So John Deaton continues. Many crypto-savvy people allowed their disdain for Ripple, its executives, or XRP, and then he wrote in parentheses, I'm not sure how you hate a token, in parentheses, to blind them regarding the SEC's gross overreach and egregious conduct. Why do you think the SEC sued Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson? Why did the SEC write paragraphs that read similarly to fraud allegations? It's complete and utter noise meant to inflame the reader. Yeah, let me pause and note this too. There were a lot of people, not me, but there were a lot of people, even within the XRP community, who upon reading the strongly worded legal complaint from the SEC against Ripple, they became actually upset with Ripple and Brad and Chris. And none of that ever made a damn bit of sense because, again, they did nothing illegal. There were no fraud charges. There's nothing. Look, Ripple owns an asset. Brad owns an asset. Chris owns an asset. It's theirs, and it's none of our damn business what they do with it, whether they keep it or they sell it. And I'm telling you, like, if you think it's bad that they sell as the price goes up, what the hell are you going to do listening to this if you got mad about this? It's just silly and childish. It doesn't make sense. If the price of an asset you hold goes up so dramatically that it now represents a ridiculous percentage of your overall net worth. Like, is it responsible to do nothing about that? Shouldn't you maybe diversify a little bit? That's what you listening to this want to do. And so then if Brad and Chris do it, that's a problem. And then if Ripple sells X amount and they're profiting from that, you actually have a problem. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I did my research from the beginning, and I was aware of Ripple's XRP holdings, and I did not have a problem with it. If anything, I saw it as a positive because they're a net plus, supporting the XRP ecosystem. They're one player in the XRP ecosystem, and so while the Bitcoin maxis decry that, I was like, nah, I'm not going to get emotional about it. It looks like they're doing some good stuff. And if they start to do bad stuff, tell you what, I think that the validator nodes out there are going to have something to say about that, and they're going to vote. They're going to vote on something. You know what that would be? They'd vote probably to burn Ripple's XRP escrow holdings, and there's nothing Ripple could even do about that. It's a decentralized ecosystem out there. So as long as you're a good player, well, of course there'd be no incentive to do that. But I'm just telling you, it doesn't make any logical sense to be mad that somebody sells an asset they own. Does anybody get mad at Jeff Bezos when he was running Amazon and selling along the way publicly? Like, do people get mad at him about that? Maybe a small minority, but the reason so many people got mad here a year ago is because the SEC wrote in their legal complaint strongly worded stuff that's intended, the way that it was crafted, to make you feel emotions because your XRP just went down and it's bad and it's your real money and they just made money off of their sales of XRP, and that's what they wanted to do, and it is not logical. And so I've been pushing it back against that ever since the beginning of this concept being brought up publicly within the community. That's just how I feel. And if you disagree, that's fine. That's fine. But I just don't think it makes logical sense to feel that way. Anyway, John continues. It's classic divide and conquer strategy. In fact, when the complaint was first filed, a lot of people claimed the executives were sued for fraud. The truth is, there isn't one allegation of fraud or misrepresentation contained in the complaint. I don't represent Ripple, and I don't defend Ripple. My focus is on XRP holders and secondary market sales of XRP, the token itself. In fact, Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Terrett, let me just pause to note, I'm assuming most of you know this at this point, but Charles Gasparino and Eleanor, both journalists at Fox Business Network. So anyway, in fact, Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Terrett reported, quote, Deaton is certainly no Ripple fanboy, end quote. But the truth is that the SEC conducted a 30-month investigation into Ripple and its executives and didn't find one chargeable instance of fraud or misrepresentation. I watched experienced securities lawyers within the digital asset space say things like, Ripple and Brad are lucky the SEC didn't charge them with fraud. Do you really think the SEC decided to bring a case against them but not charge them with fraud if it could prove it? Do you know how rare it is to independently charge the executives in a non-fraud securities violations case? Regardless, the SEC was successful in distracting the crypto community at large from its own unconscionable conduct by alleging fraud-like conduct in a non-fraud case. The SEC was hoping people would ignore the fact that you could substitute Ethereum, XLM, Cardano, or even Bitcoin for XRP in many of the allegations, and the language would equally apply. For example, the complaint alleges that all XRP holders are in a common enterprise with each other. In a typical Section 5 securities violations case, the SEC would allege that on a specific date there was a transfer of an asset that constituted an unregistered securities offering. Instead, the SEC claims all sales and transfers of XRP from 2013 until today are illegal. All sales, no matter who sold them. Even the judge called the SEC lawyers out on this ridiculous theory. And here's a quote from the court. Presumably, under this theory then, every individual in the world who is selling XRP would be committing a Section 5 violation based on what you just said. End quote. And then John wraps up by stating, despite Ryan Selkis' personal opinion about Ripple and or its executives, he did recognize the danger that this case poses to all of crypto. Do you? Golf clap for Mr. Deaton. Yeah, I love John Deaton's threads. They're so powerful, and they really just cut through all the noise and get to the point in a way that anybody, even if you don't have a ton of knowledge about the case, like, you can just understand this. And then you can do your own additional research after this. And so again, nothing against Ryan Selkis, other than I have a critique about the way that he's filtering out potential valuable information to himself, because who knows what the reason is. I think that's a bad way of like filtering people in life. You like something that I don't like, blocked. Oh, okay, gotcha. My gosh, and so I blocked him back. But I tell you what, if I operated like that, I feel like I'd be doing myself a disservice. I really do. Which is why I block almost nobody. Like if I block you, you have crossed a line, or you blocked me, and then I will block you back for good measure. But that's it. Like that's it. So it's good though. So anyway, credit where it's due. I'm glad Ryan Selkis gets this. He's able to set his bias aside and publicly state the obvious, which is that the SEC is wrong. And the way that they're approaching this entire case, very harmful for the long-term viability of the entire crypto asset class in the United States. That's just the truth. I'll wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.